Good morning, everyone. May the 4th be with you today. Official Star Wars Day on May the 4th. I'm sure a few people's ears pricked up when they heard the word Star Wars mentioned. I'm not one of them. I've seen one film, and I think I was about 10 years old, and I had absolutely no idea what was going on. But I do know that we have some very keen, hardcore Star Wars fans in our congregation, in our church family, our pastor being one of them. And I'm sorry that you guys can meet up and go to your annual Star Wars convention and dress up like Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia and whatever else it is that you guys dress up as, but I'm sure you'll be able to meet again very soon. This morning, we've got the privilege again of turning to God's Word together. And I want to look at just 2 verses that I hope will encourage and challenge us, not just in our current situation, but hopefully as we grow as a church as well. And the verses are Hebrews 10, verse 24 to 25. And it says, "And let us consider one another in order to stir up love and good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as is the manner of some, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching." Last week I received an email from work, from the school that I work at, and it was actually from the CEO of our academy chain, and it was an article written by a professor of mental health in Oxford and a principal of a college in Kidderminster, and the article was about, it was titled the recovery curriculum, and it was about what needs to be in place in schools when they do reopen and things return to somewhere near what we call normality. It spoke about how going back to school is going to be extremely difficult for some, and that the lack of routine that some might have had will have a big effect, that homeschooling will have taken place, but in a variety of different ways. There's been a loss of freedom, probably particularly for teenagers, not being able to have that peer contact. Virtually, maybe they still can, but not in terms of the playground or the canteen or the classroom. And young people might find that difficult, that they've not been able to spend time with one another. The article suggests that there's 5 levers that a teacher or a school should consider in order to get the students back on track and back to where they hopefully originally were in terms of mental mindset, but emotionally and academically as well. And the first one was the one that I wanted to look at, that I think that relates to what I want to mention today. It was one that is the reason that I got into teaching in the first place. It's at the forefront of my mind every day that I go into school, and I would hope it'd be in the forefront of people's minds, well, any teacher's mind, as they go into their classroom each day. And the first lever was it was titled relationships, and it said in the article, relationships. We can't expect our students to return joyfully, and many of the relationships that were thriving may need to be invested in and restored. We need to plan for this to happen, not assume that it will. Reach out to them. Use the relationships we build to cushion the discomfort of returning. Now, I don't feel like I really needed someone that was much more intelligent than me to tell me that relationships with your students are important, but one thing it did make me think of is about our church family, and the relationships that I have personally too. And that's why it made me look at Hebrews 10 verse 24 and 25. It made me start to think about myself, and I'll pose the same questions to you guys. Do we try to stir each other up in love and good works? I know it comes easier for some than it does for others, but we still need to do it. We still need to be stirring each other up and encouraging one another to show love to one another, not neglecting to meet one another, which maybe seems tricky to do at the moment, but it shows the importance of staying in contact with one another, with our online services that are taking place, with the hello videos that people are sending in, with the WhatsApp messages, with the comments on the YouTube videos, and whatever else might be. It's all ways of staying in contact and staying connected to one another, and meeting up, maybe not in a physical sense at the moment, but in more of a virtual type of sense. We can't neglect the meeting together, because if we do, I think that's a way of becoming discouraged very easily. Similar to the students that I've got, and the students all over the country and probably the world, time away from each other won't necessarily be easy for them. That's why I've been messaging, and I imagine the majority of teachers have. I've been messaging them daily, ringing daily. I'm meeting them on Zoom to do a quiz and a chat just to catch up with them. And it's really valuable. It'll matter more to some than others, but nonetheless, it's really, really important for the students. And if we're not meeting and encouraging one another and stirring each other up, we're likely to become lonely, to become isolated, to become despondent. And verse 25 says we should be exhorting and encouraging one another as we see the day approaching. I love that the word day has got a capital letter. It should really have capitals, bold, underlined, italics, everything that you could possibly do to it, because that day is referring to the day of God's return, of Jesus' return. Dave mentioned it in the teaching yesterday, that God will finish his work and he will return to the earth. So let's be a generation, a Christian generation, that is expecting to be the generation that will see Jesus return. As we go through our day today, don't let it be just another day. Take time to encourage one another in love. Who knows, today could be the last day. Star Wars Day could be the last day. We never know. Let's pray. Lord, thank you for the love that you show towards us. Thank you for the control that you have over our lives and how much you love us. Thank you for your thoughts towards us, Lord. Pray that as we go into this day that you will help us to encourage and stir one another up in love. Pray you'll be with us today. Bless our church family and our families, Lord. In Jesus' name. Amen. Have a great day, everyone. See you soon.